Good evening, Algebra students. We are continuing in Chapter 5. We're skipping Section 5-2 and we're going straight into Section 5-3, and it's all about something called slope-intercept form. And we're going to be breaking that down today. What I'd like for you to be able to do by the end of this video is to write and graph equations that are in slope-intercept form. So let's just cover a little bit of vocabulary before we get started. So, first off, we have a linear equation is an equation that models a linear function. Remember, linear just means straight line. So it says in a linear equation, the variables cannot be raised to a power other than 1. So y equals 2x is a linear function, but y equals x squared is not. Notice how the x does not have an exponent. This x does. It has an exponent of 2, and 2 is greater than 1, so it is not linear. Graphs of linear functions may cross the y-axis at any point. A y-intercept of a graph is the y-coordinate of a point where the graph crosses the y-axis. So we call the section on the graph where it crosses the y-axis, such as this point on this line or this point on this line, the y-intercept. Now, we're getting into what we're really going to be talking about today. It's something called the slope-intercept form. The slope-intercept form of a linear equation that is not vertical, because remember, a straight up and down line is not a function, is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Okay. So just one more time, the formula is y equals mx plus b. M represents slope, and we talked about slope in our last section, and b represents the y-intercept. So let's just practice pulling this formula apart a little bit. In example 1, it says, what is the slope and y-intercept of y is equal to 5x minus 2? Okay, so remember it is y equals mx plus b. So we're just going to line stuff up. Slope is equal to m, which is equal to 5 because 5 is in the m location in this equation. So I'm going to say slope is equal to 5. Y-intercept is equal to b, which is equal to negative 2, because that's in the location where the b would be. So let's do that again. What is the slope and y-intercept of y is equal to negative 1/2 x plus 2/3? Okay, m is the slope, and that's going to be negative 1/2. I'm getting that from this number right here. B is equal to the constant, or 2/3. Okay, now let's kind of do that in reverse, where it says writing an equation. What is an equation of the line with slope negative 4/5 and y-intercept 7? So my formula is y is equal to mx plus b. I want to replace m with this number and b with that number. So now it's going to look like y is equal to negative 4/5 x plus 7. Next it says, what is an equation of the line with slope 3/2, or that's m, and y-intercept negative 1, that's b. So now I'm going to have y is equal to 3/2 x minus 1. All right, let's keep going with a couple more examples. Now it wants us to graph these. It says, graph y is equal to 2x minus 1. All right, when you graph, here are your steps. Step 1, graph the y-intercept. Step 2, use the slope from there. So I am going to graph -1 on the y-axis first, which is right here. Then I'm going to look at my slope, and it's 2. Remember, slope means rise over run. So I'm going to go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, but starting at this point. So I count up 2 and then over 1, up 2 and then over 1. And once you get a few, that's fine. I am going to use my pencil here and connect them and form my line now. All right, let's do that again. Now my y-intercept is +2. So I'm going to go up 2 and put a dot there. And my slope is 1/2. That means up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. It's rise over run. So I'm going to go up 1 over, there we go. I didn't do it super straight, but we know what we mean. All right, let's do one more. Now it says y is equal to -3x minus 1. So my y-intercept is -1 again. This time my slope is -3. So I'm going to mark negative slope just so you really pay attention to that. That means we go down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1, over and over again. So I'm going to go down 3. And the ink is a little bit faded, so it's kind of hard to tell, but I'm doing my best here. All right, so now I'm going to connect this. Maybe. Let me try again, you guys. Okay. And there are our 3 graphed lines. We have a couple more word problems for the rest of our examples. In example 4, it says, your backyard has 3 inches of snow on the ground. During a snowstorm, snow falls at a rate of 1.2 inches per hour for 7 hours. What is the slope and y-intercept? Okay, you can think of the y-intercept as being like the beginning or the starting point. So y-intercept is like your starting point. So it already has 3 inches of snow on the ground. So my starting point, or my y-intercept, is 3. I'm going to say b is equal to 3. Your slope is your rate of change. Your slope is how fast the snow is going to be falling. So it says, during a snowstorm, snow falls at a rate of 1.2 inches per hour for 7 hours. This 7 hours is just extra information. It's not telling us about a rate. It's telling us about how long a rate occurs. So our rate or our slope is going to be 1.2. Alrighty. Let's look at our next word problem. It says, an amusement park used a promotion to attract more visitors. The equation y is equal to 41d plus 800 represents the amount of people who visited the park, y, per day, and the number of days, d, after the promotion started. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite that. Y is equal to visitors. D is equal to days. That's going to help us get that organized because all of this is kind of wordy, but all it's really telling us is Y represents visitors, D represents days. So now we're going to break down this equation, I should say, for the remainder questions that we have. So it says, what is the daily increase of visitors to the park? If it's saying daily increase, that's letting us know, this is a rate of change. There is something altering by day. So that is giving us a hint. This is going to represent slope. So slope is going to be in this position. So that means 41 is the daily increase. So they only get 800 on the first day, then they're going to get 841, then 882. They keep adding 41 new visitors each day. What is the number of people who attended the park before the promotion started? So remember, y-intercept is kind of like the starting point. I'll write it again. So we just need to look at our formula. Y is equal to 41D plus 800, and 800 is the y-intercept, which means before the promotion, before the advertisement, they were getting 800 people at the park. So there's my starting point. What is the number of people who attended 2 days after the promotion started? I keep saying that wrong. I apologize. 2 days after the promotion started. Okay, 2 days. This is letting us know what variable this is. D equals days. I want to know what the equation is equal to after 2 days. So I'm going to take this 2 and I'm going to substitute it up here into my equation. I have y is equal to 41 times 2 plus 800. Continue to simplify. So 41 times 2 is 82. 82 plus 800. And there you have it. We have one more example and then we're done with today's notes. It says, a house sitter charges $10 for house visits and $30 a day for every, now I do believe that there's a typo in this. Yes, okay, and $30 an hour. This should say an hour. For every day he takes care of the house, or for every hour he takes care of the house. He uses the linear model, y is equal to 30x plus 10. And this is going to tell him how expensive his service is. He decides to change his hourly fee to $35 a day. What should the new equation be? Okay. So right here, I have y is equal to $30 per hour plus the $10 initial fee. Just to come to the house, he's going to charge $10. Instead of charging $30, he wants to charge $35 instead. So right now, he's charging $30 per hour, but now he wants to charge $35 per hour. So all I need to do, he's still charging $10 just to go to the house. Everything else is the same. The only thing I need to do is increase his hourly rate. So I'm going to write y is equal to 35x plus 10, and there's my new equation. I hope this is making sense for you. We'll be covering it in even more detail tomorrow, but until then, have a good night. Bye.